probably just give it another 2 minutes, and I'm here with Jessica Pancoast. My name is Jason Barnes, and we will get going. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And we've got Jessica Pancoast here, who's the head of our training and help desk teams. And my name is Jason Barnes, and we're excited to be talking to you today about one of our next topics, and one topic that I know will become more of a hot topic, I should say, in 2016, because today we're actually going to talk about a migration from a traditional way of doing things around here in Vericle to a brand new way of doing things. So to first start with an admission, something fairly obvious is we're not good at everything over here. We know that there are areas where other companies have not only beat us to the punch, but they have special insight that we would just never have because they're only trying to solve one problem. We, as a software platform, offer a great place for doctors to bill, to schedule, to manage their practice workflow and outstanding tasks and automate those things. However, some of those tasks, if you asked us to design it, code it, implement it, we would not be as good as the best-in-breed solutions that are already offered out there in the marketplace when it comes to online scheduling or really specific documentation having to do with a small, narrow niche that only applies to a certain group. But this actually gets even wider because we're talking about third-party integrations today. Those software companies that offer protected content where there's intellectual property that we simply don't own that you would like to access, reminder services to additional patient education tools, something that you would like that even if we tried our best, we wouldn't be able to offer for one of two reasons. Jess, one, we don't know how to do it. Two, we don't have access to it because it's not ours. That does not mean we're in a lurch. It does not mean we do not have options. We have some fairly large groups that have worked with us, and up on your screen, we're going to start going over those particular technology solutions, as well as the ways that you can access third-party materials that are uniquely owned and copyrighted by those organizations. So that's what today's topic is, and Jess, I would imagine, as we keep migrating from a traditional way of implementing these things to our app stores that we're about to go over, I would imagine you and your team are getting a little bit happier about this.
Yes, it's a lot easier for the practices to get themselves integrated with one of these third parties with the App Store. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce that then, Jess, and I'll ask you to help talk about some of the older ways that somebody would have to go about it, because for some of those are still the only way of doing it until we get everything migrated over. So I would like to use an example case. One of the easiest ones and one of the technology outlets that we have available to our current set of clients is reminder services. There are reminder calls, text messages, and emails that are currently available. We have a couple of solutions that we're integrated with that offer all three services. There are ones that have great packages for really high volume practices. There are ones that have consoles available so you can have text message conversations with your clients. We are not a texting service. If we were to try and get into a new niche or a new business, I'm not necessarily how successful we would be because this has been done already and people are really good at it. And they do it on a large scale, so they're able to offer it in a cost-effective way. So Reminder Call or Zing It, there are other ones that are available, but reminder services are a huge value to you as a practice owner. They're a huge value to your patient who needs that reminder to make sure they don't forget the priority that their health is in their lives. So when they're sitting there at home and it's noon and they've got an appointment at your office at 1, when that text message comes through that says it's time to get up and start heading toward the office, we know that we can retain that patient. There's a question, what is that worth to you? I know there are lots of platforms that offer variances of this, but here at Vericle, we offer the best-in-breed solutions that we could never come up with on our own. Zing It, Reminder Call are among two of those options that we offer. Retaining those patients is the ultimate goal, making sure that you have a tool that you can set up once, automate so that you don't have to remember or ask, worse yet, Jess, ask a staff member to remember to call one of your patients has proven to be very valuable to our practices. How to access them we'll get to next, but if you've got a reminder call service that you're already using, that reminder service will have a real-time integration with our platform. We can set up thresholds, whether or not you want to remind the day before, 2 days before, whatever that threshold is, you can set up. We will send a file. That file will go to that technology solution that's set up, and then we will actually send out that reminder call, text, or email. If I'm not mistaken, Jess, they can actually choose to do more than one, should they want to, or is it just one?
I think at this point it's just one. We're actually working on making it more dynamic to give them more options.
Okay.
But at this time it's just the one. We send the file to the company and they make the reminder.
They execute the reminder.
Yes.
Perfect. That is an example of just one service. I'd like to get into a few other examples today and talk about the categories of examples. So the first one that we'll look at here is CVP App Store. CVP stands for Chiropractic Biophysics. We have a great deal of providers that use our technology, and they all have one thing in common. They actually either subscribe to or practice a very specific type of patient treatment. To get access to various things such as SOAP note macros, such as forms that need to be filled out, those are proprietary and only offered by CVP, and they actually have a value attached to them if you were to go to CVP's website and buy them. Here you can buy them, which is great, but if you only bought them through the website, you'd only have the paper copies. Here we've digitized those copies, and when you purchase them, they're available on each patient account that you go to, so you can use the correct form or the correct documentation with each individual patient that you see. That copyrighted material is valuable without that, but when it's infused with the ability to use it in an electronic format with the patient, this is where our doctors have really seen the true victory. There are a number of very specific items that are like that. In addition to that, we work with franchising organizations such as Maximize Living. We work with other organizations like a specific Dr. Graybar, who coaches a number of clients himself. And in this particular situation, he wanted to make for his group of students, I guess, or clients is the best way of saying that, information available to only his group. And when you sign on and you have, this particular doctor as your coach, this storefront is made available to you. By clicking on one, you can subscribe to it. That subscription will then give you access, and sometimes there's going to be a charge involved with some of these. Sometimes there isn't, such as every single client that comes on board who's a member of our Genesis group would click on Genesis, and that would give them the basics that they need to get started. There's no cost associated with it. It's appointment types. It's to-do types, off blocks for your scheduling, some checklists, some basic X-docs that help you to get your practice started right. We are migrating from a traditional way of doing this, which has been going up to our configuration screen, finding out where your third-party service was, clicking on one of these for reminder call registration or Zing It, whichever one you wanted to use. And in this particular case, I'll choose merchant configuration. These are our third-party. Is it only credit card processing at this point?
Under merchant, yeah.
Okay. I know that we're looking at expanding some of that offering in the near future. And by no means a spoiler alert, but those patient pay organizations that offer financing, things like that, are on our horizon to use these. This particular merchant list allows you to choose any one of the credit card companies that we are already, credit card merchants, I guess is a better way of saying it, that are already signed up with us, for you to choose them in a drop-down and start the integration process. We are going to stop using this particular interface, and our goal is to move all of this over into different apps that you'll have available to you. These are a few of the examples, and I'll finish it off with not a list of the complete offerings here, but without this automation for credit cards, it requires your office to do dual entry. To run that credit card, put an amount in there so you can take the money, and then go back and actually post it in a patient account. These integrations afford you a real-time, near real-time, I think is a better way of saying it, Jess, right? It's not real-time, but close to it.
Yeah, close to it most of the time.
Close to it. Integration between running that credit card and having it post with the right information on the patient account. We're not a credit card processing company either, but these credit card companies offer different things to different patients, to different providers. One might be a really good fit for you and one might not be. And we have different merchant groups right now that we're actually looking to integrate with. So this offering will continue to grow, and anybody who's currently using an additional merchant that is not listed with us, we will not necessarily integrate with too many more, if any, but we encourage you to look at the list and research rates and what their total offering is, because that might be very appealing to you. To give you an idea of what other types of items that we do offer, MD Referral Pro is something we're super proud of, because for all of those different specialties out there that rely on referral sources to grow their patient pools, and those referral sources are really the lifeblood of their practice, this allows mapping and planning and marketing strategies to be automated and implemented with those referral sources. Our key tag store, we've got lots of our clients that utilize key tags to check patients in, and we want to make sure that you're not spending time going to another website. This allows you to access it right through our system. So we've got different documentation suites that are available, which use our system as is. The technology of both XMR, which is our narrative generation, and our XDoc technology to offer smart and regular forms to be filled out for your patients. And then finally, there are additional value adds such as web exercises or 3D RRX, things that allow you to educate your patients. Now, my web exercises and 3D RX allow 3D animations of what is ailing your patients, shows joints and other subluxations perhaps that help a patient really understand what their problem looks like and how it's affecting their body. Any way you look at it, having one platform that offers this allows you, one, less to manage, and two, a single place to go do it and offer to your patients. Because when you go into any patient account, if you do subscribe to a third-party patient education tool, it's not as if that you have to go somewhere else. We can actually include these tabs in your presentation to the patient, and right there, with a click of a button, you can bring up the offering and actually show your patient what it is that they need to be doing, and email them out home exercise programs that can be done in real time, so that when they get home, they know what their exercise program is, they know what they should be doing, they have videos of the movements that they should be doing or stretches that they should be doing, so that their care continues at home and they see the value that you offer from your practice in a much different way than patients who are not receiving this type of help. So how do you engage these? This App Store, if I know I'm not using a presentation tool right now, but if you can follow my mouse to your menu bar, Apps is your second to last one. You click on your apps, it brings you to this page. There are 12 available apps to most people, and as we continue to roll this out, those apps will be made available. If you head over to your configuration, you'll see third-party services, which will bring you up, frankly, just the best way of saying this is the rest of them that are available to them at this point. And we can help you do that. If you have any questions about our full offering, we have these listed on our websites, and you can go check those out, or you can open a task to your coach, and they would be happy to explore the possibilities with you. So at this point, we will stop with our presentation. We'll open up for a Q&A on third-party apps, and if there are any other questions after that, we'll hang around and answer them. I know the configurations, typically those tasks come over to your team, right?
Yep. Sometimes we get them right at the beginning, sometimes we'll get them halfway through, but we can help them configure and get everything set up for most of the third-party apps. The only thing that we would have to send them to their coach about is the collections, if they decide to use one of our integrated collection agencies.
Yeah. It's an option that a number of our practices use, but recently it's been so few that have used those.
Yes. A lot of our practices choose not to send their patients to collections. And
well, I've noticed that a lot of them refused all along, though, but they would keep it for those special patients that they didn't mind doing it to. But what I've noticed is a real shift in using our integrated credit card merchants and keeping a card on file, so balances are simply charged to credit cards after, the requisite number of days or attempts to collect any other way.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reoccurring charges on those credit cards.
As have I. But I know that this migration, I'm hoping, really cuts down on the amount of work that not only the practice has to do, but your team. Interestingly enough, I had a doctor approach us a couple weeks ago about physical medicine documentation and asking us what our offering was there. He had put together over the years, a very experienced doctor over the years, exactly what to do in each case. And he's interested in building his own store, because he goes, not only will that bring more physical medicine doctors onto your system, but they won't have to struggle. And he wanted to give it away. He didn't want to charge. He wants patients to get better, and he goes, there's not enough people practicing physical medicine, so I just want to make this available so we could put it into an app and we can get you started. So he might change his mind. He might want to charge for it if it really takes off.
We're actually also making an update to have the ability to approve subscribers before they actually gain access.
Okay.
So kind of like the idea of a private store.
Okay.
It'll still be out here listed, but rather than someone just clicking on there and subscribing, they would request to be able to subscribe. Then the owner of the store can approve or not, depending on the situation. So some practices may choose to go that route, like that Gray Bar store that he created it for his clients. Yeah. He would be able to pretty much make that a request subscription store.
Yeah, he's a fairly large practice with a number of locations in a couple of states, and he only coaches in a geographic region. It's not like he's got clients strewn about the United States. Yeah. Interestingly enough, we actually, it doesn't look like we've got any other questions, but to wrap up, we have somebody who is taking a lot of our content and wants to translate it into Spanish. So I would love to see a Spanish subscription come up where you can get kind of a lot of the things that we already have, but translated into Spanish. We've got a lot of practices now in Puerto Rico and in South America. So remember, everybody listening, this is opened up for anybody to ask a question. If we don't get any others, we'll probably close out here in a couple of minutes. All right. Well, thank you all for another great week, and we look forward to talking to you next week.